Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we have another deck donation. This is Izzet Faeries by Noops. This is a list that they've been working on for a little while. I wanted to see how I could fare with it, because Faeries. I'm obviously a huge fan of Dimir Faeries. That's where I spend a lot of my time as far as Faeries goes. Izzet Faeries plays very similarly, but it solidifies its removal package as all 1-drops instead of having 0-drop snuff outs and 2-drop cast downs, which can be pretty interesting. And we also have a much more aggressive Monarch creature in Crimson Fleet Commodore. They did say they were open to me making a couple of changes, and I do have just one main one that we're going to get to in just a second. But the main idea of the deck is that we're going to be using Fairy Seer to set up our draws, and especially Spellstutter Sprite to get really good value by countering our opponent's spells for the number of fairies we control. Then we're going to use ninjas like Ninja of the Deep Hours and Moon Circuit Hacker to pick those fairies back up and get their ETB once again. We also have Augur of Bolas, which can act as a really good blocker in the early game, gives us some card advantage, and also can be picked up with the ninjas. We have a cantrip package here with 4 Brainstorm, 2 Ponder, 2 Preordain. The Brainstorms, of course, we can clear with Lorien Revealeds or Perilous Landscapes, or we can set up an Augur of Bolas with them. That removal package, like I mentioned, is 4 Lightning Bolts, 4 Skred, so of course we're playing snow-covered lands, Volatile Fjord, and then Snow, Mountains, and Islands. We also have a playset of Counterspell, because it's a blue deck. Obviously, that's a really good card to include. And we have a 1 of Murmuring Mystic to help in the late game. In the sideboard, we have a couple of Campfire, Relics of Progenitus, Pyroblasts, Cast into the Fire, Hydroblasts, and a Fiery Cannonade. Now, this is the change I'm going to make. People often put Fiery Cannonade in their decks for 2 considerations. One is budget. If that's the reason, it's totally understandable. Breath Weapon, especially on MTGO, is really expensive, but also in paper has even risen to be a few bucks. The other consideration is that we are playing a pirate with 2 toughness. So why would we want to play a board wipe that's going to kill the Crimson Fleet Commodore? I understand that synergy. However, the thing that I think is the most important is that our Breath Weapon kills all the creatures that we want to kill in those go-wide decks. So what's the number 1 deck that you think of when you want a board wipe? In my mind, that's Red Rally. They're the fastest go-wide deck that's in the format, and Fiery Cannonade does not kill Goblin Tomb Raider, which is the scariest creature in their entire deck. So if your board wipe is not clearing the main threat that they are going to have, I don't think it's worth playing. For that reason, I'm going to swap in a Breath Weapon for this Fiery Cannonade. We will also see, we'll try to keep in mind if it ever is detrimental to kill our Crimson Fleet Commodore over the fact that we can kill that Tomb Raider. It might not come up, or it might. And frankly, I think one of the best things about having an Izzet deck like this is being able to play Breath Weapon. So I think we're going to put a second one in the sideboard in place of a Relic of Progenitus. I know that we are a Fairies deck, so being able to wipe our own board is not great, but in the matches where Breath Weapon's really good, Red Rally, White Weenie, Elves, usually wiping their entire board is going to be well worth losing even a couple of our own creatures. So that is the deck list. Let's take it for League and see how we do. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. All right, we're going to keep this one. We're on the draw, and we're against something blue. Some Lightning Bolts. I think we're going to start with a Fairy Seer. It's obviously the safest thing, but I could just start with the landscape and try to get the ability to hold up a Lightning Bolt immediately. Spellstutter's good. Ponder is fine. Yeah, Ponder could be good too. I think we're going to keep these both. Keep the Spellstutter on top so that next turn I can play Landscape, have up Spellstutter for 2. If we don't use it, we can always cycle this for like a red source. If I shuffle away the Ponder, that's not the end of the world. They concede the game. This is why you do not keep a 1-lander counting on Brainstorm to find you a land. All we know is that they're blue with Brainstorm, so it could be Dimir Fairies, it could be Dimir Terror or Blue Terror. Could be a mirror of some sort. I mean, we bring in Pyroblasts. I'm kind of inclined to bring in Relics, but I'm not sure. We don't know if it's Fairies, so I'm not going to cut any of our removal here, I don't think. We know that it's not going to be an aggro deck, probably. So I think I can cut a couple Augurs and maybe like a Ponder for these Pyroblasts. Just see how this works. No lands. This one's good enough. We got to put back... I mean, it could be the Augur, because I know I don't need it as a blocker, but Augur Brainstorm's not bad. What am I going to do? Turn 1, Fjord. Turn 2, I have the Landscape, so I'll probably Brainstorm Landscape, so I probably don't need this Augur. Let's get rid of it. Although I might do the Fairy Seer, actually, so I can maybe get the Ninja down turn 3. They have a Delver. Let's start with a Fjord. I can also just Skred this if I want. Does flip, so it's Mono Blue Terror. Okay. So yeah, could have brought in the Relics. This is scary, but... Ooh, that's a good draw. I think we can just Skred one of them. I do want to get a Fairy Seer down so I get a Ninja, but I think trying not to die to these is probably important. They have a Brainstorm. Let's see if they want to concede after this one resolves too. All right, Delver's going to flip off of a Counterspell. They have yet another Delver. Pretty good start from them. Let's Brainstorm. Okay, so I don't even need to shuffle because I can just like Fairy Seer Scry these to the bottom. So I think we're putting back this and a Lorien. Fairy Seer, get rid of both, and then we'll go with a Preordain. Counterspell and Mystic. Mystic's a little too slow, but Counterspell doesn't do anything either. I need removal. I think I gotta get rid of both of these. But they have a Counterspell. Well, we could draw a Counterspell anyway. Seems tough. The triple Delver start is pretty good. Sleep of the Dead, okay. That's annoying. No Ninja for us, I guess. They didn't leave up Counterspell, so if I drew a removal, maybe that'd be okay, but I didn't. So I'll just play this and pass, but we're pretty much dead already. Island, swing, flash in a Spell Stutter. They're going to Counterspell. We'll counter back. They have the Dispel. I guess with like a Bolt, I could still survive. So let's draw a card, see if we get the removal. I also have Pyro, Scred. There's a lot. Yeah, well. Triple Delver, what are you going to do? We will get the relics in. Not that they would be good there, but let's take out the Augurs. All right, this one looks decent. Start with a Fjord. Don't you dare Delver. Okay, they're going to Brainstorm immediately. Let's see if they have a land. They didn't immediately concede, so I'm going to assume they do. If they Mental Note in their upkeep, we get to Spell Stutter it. That's pretty nice. Yeah. If it was a Lorien, I couldn't, and they still might have a land drop, but still decent value. Thought Scour now, Deep Analysis, Deep Inferior. Plus we get to Ninja. Ooh, that's actually even better. Well, is it? I can Ninja with Spell Stutter up, but they're going to know about it, and also I don't have the big Ninja down. Actually, we're just going to do this. I still have a Pyroblast. I guess by doing the Hacker, I could then flash in Spell Stutter so that I could get the second Ninja down, and I can't do that this way, but I don't know. I think it's fine. Cycle a Lorien. That is their 6th spell already. There's a Terror. We'll try to Pyroblast it. They have a Dispel. Can't quite Scred it, so I guess we just got to pass. Flashback Deep Analysis. Okay. Swing for 5. They're going to pass. We're going to crack the Landscape just so I have Scred online for 5 when I want it to be. I could flash in Spell Stutter. They could Counterspell it, but they're not really going to run a 1-drop out into it anyway, probably. And if they don't counter it, then I get to Hacker. And if they do counter it, maybe I could like Lorien. All right, it resolves. Swing with the team. Hacker. Go for a nice draw 2. Another Spell Stutter. And an Island. Okay. So if I go for a Scred, they're just going to have a counter spell. I think I just leave up double Spell Stutter. I don't really need to ponder. They go for a Mental Note. I can Spell Stutter that. Free value. And now I can Spell Stutter a 2-drop, although they basically play 0 2-drops usually. I think I'll just take this. There's a Serpent and a Terror. Crimson Fleet Commodore. Well, that's interesting. I can cast it. I mean, their 2-drops are counterspell. So actually, I play it. They play a counterspell. I can Spell Stutter it. Then I'm out of cards, but I have 5 blockers, one of which can trade. I'm not using my Scred. So I could also Scred this. They go for a counter. I Spell Stutter. I think Crimson Fleet, I think Commodore is the way to go. It trades if they don't have like a spell. They're, what's it called? Sleep of the Dead. If they have sleep, it's going to be pretty bad. But if they don't, then this trades for 1. I could even trade 3 of these for another and then chump. And then I have a Scred. Although I lose everything if I do that. That might not be right. Another Sprite. Hardcast Lorien is great for us. I mean, maybe they like play an Island and Sleep of the Dead or Demon Inferior. That'd be pretty good for them. But if not, they just spent their whole turn tapping out. Okay, so can we kill them? Because I can block, take 5, and then we have 10 damage. If I Scred this, I can't take all of this or I'll die. 10 damage on them. If I draw a Lightning Bolt, it would be lethal. If I draw another Ninja, it'd be lethal. I think the upside's there. The alternative is I could trade and chump, Scred this. I get in for 5, and they only have 1 Serpent, which I could trade with. Yeah. I think pains me a little bit, but I actually think trading might be better here. There's just no guarantee I get the Bolt or the Ninja. I mean, it's not bad odds, but Pyroblast is not bad. I could just blow up both their guys, actually. Probably worthwhile. Let's actually cycle the Lorien then, because I'm drawing plenty and the extra mana could be relevant. Scred this, pay for the ward. Pyroblast this while they're tapped out. Pay for the ward. Hit for 5, draw first, then draw and discard. We'll get rid of the Brainstorm, I think. So they could play more creatures, in which case, if I don't have removal, we might not have a way to kill them next turn. Currently, if they can't get a creature down or removal or anything, I can kill them still if I find a Bolt or a Ninja. They do go for a Brainstorm into Thought Scour into Brainstorm. A little bit of desperation for sure. They have a Demon Inferior on the Ninja. We'll put that second from the top. I can draw it right back and get them. All right, they give us a GG's. We got there. Round 2 here. We'll keep this one. I mean, a little Lorien heavy, but that means we have our red source. We also can shuffle with the Brainstorm. So unless I really want to have up Counterspell turn 2, I was going to say I might Brainstorm here and cycle in the upkeep, but actually I do want to have up Counterspell turn 2 because they could have like a Wildfire or something that'd be pretty good. So we're just going to grab an island here. Pass. Okay, it's Grixis. It's important to slow them down in the early turns, but I'm not going to be counterspelling a star. We do still just get to Brainstorm. Ooh, I guess with Augur, maybe I put back Lorien, and then I pick one up. With the Augur, we are going to tap out, so Counterspell wouldn't be available. But we'll get the value plus potential to Ninja next turn. Scred. Okay, we're going to take the Scred, actually, because I don't need another Lorien. Play a Landscape so I can get the red without having to use Lorien, because I might want to actually hardcast it. Frogmite. That's a blast from the past. A couple of them. Refurb. Don't love getting rid of anything here. I think it's going to be Lorien. Could be Island, but then I don't have red next turn, which I think I want, so maybe it's Ninja, actually, based on what they just played. Probably would have been better into Thoughtcast. Bit of an outrageous start from them. They Galvanic Blast the Augur while we're tapped out. I don't love that. It does make it easier for me to probably cast a Mystic and just let it resolve, but I'm taking a lot. Well, I can block the Enforcer if I want to risk it getting Galv Blasted or whatever, but like, what else am I doing? I could just Scred this, do nothing, but hold up Counterspell, I guess. But I think I need to get the upside of the Mystic down. Chances they can kill it if I don't put it in harm's way are low. Now that they've used a Galv Blast, maybe they have double Galv Blast, but seems unlikely. Crack the star. Gear Seeker Serpent. Scary stuff. They swing with the team. I think we just have to block the Mirror Enforcer. Just assume they're not going to have Toxin or Galvanic, which they don't. Scred's good, but I mean, I can block the Serpent with like a bird, and I have a Counterspell available as well. So I think we just pass here. Scred in their upkeep, because they might have a Reckoner's Bargain. So they'd have to use the mana on their turn to kill the Enforcer. And if they go for a Reckoner's Bargain, we're going to Counterspell. Make another bird. So now we have some blockers for this. We can double block a Frogmite to kill it. They're still swinging with everything. Okay, so I can block here. Double block here. We take 7, but they've got 1 card in hand. Scred almost can kill this guy, but we're going to hardcast a Ninja here. I need them to not gain another land so they can make this unblockable, I guess. Wellspring. They're going to swing with the Serpent. We're going to go for the Scred and try to block with a bird to trade. They got the second bargain. A little annoying. I mean, getting rid of the Serpent's pretty good, but obviously them gaining some life and getting a draw to is not my favorite. We did manage to survive. And if they have nothing here, I mean, if they like refurb us, I'm going to be really upset. Galvanic Blast the Ninja. I was going to say I could bolt the Frogmite, and then we can at least have a Ninja going, which would be really good, but I guess not. Ooh, I think we just got to do Lorien next turn. Slam that. So I think I'm just going to kill this Frogmite and start attacking. Next turn we slam a Lorien, and then we have a Counterspell. We have some birds. We'll see how things go from there. They have a land drop. And nothing. Perfect. Lorien. Okay, we get some good spells. Hit for 4. They get a Galvanic Blast to the face while we're tapped out. Okay. Respect. We're definitely leaving up Counterspell now then. I mean, we already were, but even more so. Let's go for a Moonstruck Hacker. I could have left up double Counterspell. Well, we still can now. If they get like a draw 2 and they use it on a Wellspring, I could counter the draw 2, but then if they get the Galvanic off of just a Wellspring, I would lose. What is this? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I could speed up the clock with 2 Fairy Seers by a turn. I think it's worth it. Get rid of a Seer, keep a Ninja. I think the chances that we need more than 1 Counterspell are low, but we'll see. They clearly didn't have another Galvanic Blast. They could have been holding this and now have a Galvanic Blast. I think the chances of that are so unlikely that I'm going to Counterspell it. Now we swing, and we even have another Counterspell on top, which we know about, so we're going to have 2 Counterspells. Draw, and discard. Get rid of a Fairy Seer, and pass the turn. Counterspell an Enforcer, and we'll swing with the team. Got there. Even after that very aggressive start. We get Cast on the Fires and maybe Pyroblasts. They're going to bring in Pyros, and they already have... We didn't see Utrom. Maybe they're not on them, but it feels like they would be on Utrom. Thoughtcast. Honestly, with Frogmite, Refurb, it almost makes me want a Breath Weapon. Gear Seeker. I guess only half of them die to that. Oh, but Pyroblast kills Gear Seeker. I think that's a reason to bring a couple in. Commodore seems really risky based on what we just saw. Augurs seem decent because of the Frogmites, but not 100% necessary. Not 100% necessary. Bolts are still good. Maybe a Ponder and a Seer. Yeah, we'll keep this one. Got some islands. Nice. We're not going to be brainstorming anytime soon. No reason to just like lock ourselves or cantrip without something else. They go for a refurb. We'll counterspell. They didn't have that last turn. Ooh, and they didn't have a land drop, so that's really good. We'll pass. Could counterspell another 2-drop. They got nothing. I mean, we'll go for a spell stutter. And they didn't kill it, so I can ninja here. I might have a galvanic for this, but that's fine. It would have been risky to do that because I could have had an island and then spell stuttered the galvanic, but I guess they don't care. All right, we'll go for a brainstorm, try to hit a land now. We do. And I'll just pass. I might cycle this Lorien for blue-red. We have a brainstorm on top, which I don't mind to draw because it could be something for the Mystic. They have a Silver Bluff Bridge, and they do have a neutral monitor. Yeah, let's just draw. Go for the brainstorm. I know I said for the Mystic, but let's see what we get. Okay, we have our Fjord. Islands aren't bad if I want to just, you know, hit lands and then Lorien. So I think we're still going to put these two back. Fjord, Seer, so I have Spell Stutter up for more. I think I get rid of one island, but I keep the other one so that I can have up Murmuring Mystic Counterspell next turn, or Spell Stutter. Galvanic Blast the Fairy Seer. I'm going to Spell Stutter that. This might be bait so they can cast something else and resolve it, or they could have like a Cast in the Fire to kill both of these, but that's still a 2 for 2 and uses their whole turn, so I'd be fine with either of those. Whereas now if they have another Galvanic Blast to kill like one of them, then this would actually still keep the Fairy Seer alive. They have a cast down. Yeah, so this still sees that we have a Fairy Seer on board, which means the Galvanic does not resolve. So I get to keep that, so I just got a 2 for 1 even though I lost the Spell Stutter. And they used a cast down and a Galvanic, so I think I can resolve this Mystic. Feeling pretty good about it. They could still have a removal spell, but I have a counter spell, so they need like cast down and a pyro or 2 pyros or something. Blood Fountain is pretty good, especially because they've been pinched on affinity count, but I think I just want to protect the Mystic. Maybe if they tap out for something, I'll counterspell it, even if it's not a kill spell, but like a Mirror Enforcer, I can block technically. They still have a mana up for a pyro. I do want to slam Lorien next turn, but I think Mystic is just too valuable. So hopefully they think the coast is clear since they resolve both of those and then they just go for it. Because if not, and I go for Lorien, they might just kill this in response, which means like another island wouldn't be a bad draw here, which obviously I put one to the bottom. Okay, I could just Ninja then, actually. That's not bad. Draws me a card, lets me replay the Seer to scry. Still holding up Counterspell. I could cycle a Lorien. Is there a world where I resolve both of these? Maybe. Let's just go with the Seer. Casting the Fire is good. Fjord is tapped, so it wouldn't really help cast a Lorien and then have a counterspell, so I think I'm getting rid of that, but I'm keeping the cast on the Fire. I'm going to block the Mirror Enforcer here, opening us up to getting Galvanic Blasted, Toxin Analysis. I have a counterspell for one of them, but I'm opening myself up to getting another one, but I can't take 7, I don't think. I still get to counterspell the first thing they try to use and get a bird out of it. It might be a Krark even. Gear Seeker. They're never going to have the mana to make it unblockable, but I'm not going to be able to deal with all of these. I think I am going to counterspell. I think based on how they've played leaving up this red mana, they probably do have a Pyroblast. They could use it on the counterspell or the Mystic. Or maybe it's a Galvanic now. It is Krark. Okay. Well, yeah, not great. They sack just one thing, so they let our Ninja survive. I appreciate that. That's just a free card. And I can cast this Mirror Enforcer into the Fire. Although if I want to resolve a Lorien, maybe I don't want to. If I don't hit like an untapped land. I think I'll leave back the bird just in case I want to chump with it. Let's draw a card here. Brainstorm. Yeah, let's go for the Lorien. Hope we draw an untapped land. We don't. We do get a Pyro. Maybe I just kill the Monitor now then while they're tapped out. That seems fine. If they get an untapped land, they can like crack the Blood Fountain, but they're not doing anything else. That's probably not bad. And now my hand is stacked for next turn. So now I know they can't just like somehow kill the bird, attack for 7, Galvanic Blast us. I guess they could theoretically have untapped land. I don't know, triple Galv Blast. They couldn't do that, especially because they've used 2. All right, there's a bridge. Swing with the Enforcer. We'll just keep our life total high. We're pretty in control as long as we don't lose to some burn, I think. Pretty positive I can cast this Mirror Enforcer into the Fire with our counter spells, so I'm not going to leave back a blocker this time. Swing, draw a card. We do get the island that I want, so let's just do this during the upkeep as we should. Pass the turn. They could have like a breath weapon, then I get to counter it, and they're tapped out, so I get to kill the Enforcer. I feel like that's the main thing they'd be thinking about on the end step. Maybe they do just have a bargain and they're deciding if they want to use it on a Fountain or Enforcer or something. Yeah, they're going to bargain the Enforcer. Well, that makes this easy. I get to Spell Stutter that, and then I get to cast in the Fire their Blood Fountain. I could go for a land, but if they have an untapped land, they still get to use the Fountain, and this way it feels like they only have 2 cards. Krark, I mean, it kills my Ninja, which is pressure and card draw, so I guess I counter. Well, let's go for a Brainstorm, actually. Maybe I find another Spell Stutter Sprite. They're going to negate the Brainstorm. Well, that's funny. Then I'll just counter the Croak. And win the match. This hand looks pretty good. Double Spell Stutter, Bolt, Ninja. Okay. Island is good, because I wanted to have a Bolt immediately, but without the Island I would need to play Landscape, or I could have just held this up and cycled the Lorien, I suppose, but just attack with the Epicure, so they're probably going to play a 2-drop, like a Reckless Impulse here. I mean, this is the guy that's attacking. I think I just kill it. There's bigger guys later, but if this guy sticks around, it'll be dealing just as much damage, potentially. Okay, Burning Tree, but no Rally. It's got to be, like, Reckless. Yeah. Galvanic Blast and a Burning Tree. Well, I can potentially Spell Stutter the Galvanic Blast since they're going to be forced to cast that. Like, there's the Burning Tree, which I can't counter, unfortunately. But then they're going to just Galvanic. I'll get rid of that. Have a Mountain. Okay. Just didn't play it before. It was interesting. I guess I'll take 3. I could really use some more removal. Perfect. Because I think I got to get a Ninja down here. I could just hold up a Spell Stutter on 2, I guess. Maybe that's better. Scred this and Spell Stutter something for 2. Yeah, we'll give that a try, actually. And then next turn go for Ninjas, maybe. Scred here. Take 3. If they don't cast anything, I'll just sacrifice and cycle Lorien. And they'll probably bolt us while we're tapped out, but bolt the Fairy. Okay, fair enough. Give me something good. Augur. Okay, Bolt's good. So now I'll leave up Bolt and Spell Stutter. Blood Token away a Mountain. Take out the 2/2 and take 1. We'll go to Spell Stutter the Epicure. We're going to want to do it anyway to get a Ninja. Oh, and it worked. I was going to say, I assume they're just going to bolt it, but at least we eat up a Bolt. But on the off chance it does work, it was just too good because now we get to get a Ninja down. We have Spell Stutter and a Counterspell now. Ooh, I think I just want to play Augur, though, to block. And then we have another thing for Ninja. We take a Ponder, and they concede. All right, that's how we do it. And this is the matchup where the Breath Weapon not being Fiery Cannonade is going to be good, and having 2 Breath Weapons at all. Not to mention we also get Campfires and Hydroblast. So this is a lot of counterspells, or rather sideboard slots for them. But we also have some pretty bad cards. Crimson Fleet is not good. Ninjas, honestly, are not very good. And our removal is fine. But, like, as long as we control the game. Like, Mystic is cool, but it gets Pyroblasted. And it's so expensive that I think it's worth cutting, probably. As long as we just, like, control the game, we should be able to beat them with, like, 1-drops eventually. You know, 1/1s and stuff. This has some really good cards, but no lands. This is good enough. I mean, it's not great. It's really slow, but we have the mana. We have some removal, but I think we're getting rid of Ninja. There's a Percussionist. Island is good. It allows me to Fairy Seer, which could block, but then I don't have a Bolt for 2 turns, and I think I want to have Bolt up next turn. They have the Burning Tree. Into another one. Into a Tomb Raider. I guess it's not as bad as if it were a Rally, but it's pretty bad. Fairy Seer. Looking for a Breath Weapon. We already have a Preordain, so I think we could just get rid of both of those. Like, we kind of need Breath Weapon to have a shot here. A Hydroblast would have been good, too, because that could have countered, like, a Bushwhacker. They don't have that, luckily. I think I trade here. Inventor's Axe. Okay, well, I can bolt whatever they target, so that's fine. They got another Axe? No. Obviously, I would have killed a Burning Tree Emissary here because it's objectively better than a Tomb Raider once they're on the field, but the Axe Carrier was the best target. Epicure, give me the one Breath Weapon. Nope. Preordain. Scred and Campfire. I'll take it. We'll keep both. I could have gotten the Campfire first, but it would gain me 2 life by spending 2 mana here, and Scred gains me 2 life by spending 1 mana. Actually, it gains me more because I can target whatever they equip the axe to. But I'm also going to use this Preordain. Spell Stutter counters a 1-drop. Could be relevant. I think I just want more removal, though. We're definitely getting to keep the Campfire, though. So here, they equip here. I kill this. We take 4. Oof, Rally. So we're taking 6. Yeah, so Campfire is just not good enough. I mean, we're still doing this. Now the axe is dead, but we need something else, too. Breath Weapon would be great. That's not it. So let's just cycle this for a Fjord. If we survive, the extra red could be relevant, but we literally are going to 1, so they just need to have 1 more damage in hand. And that's a Tomb Raider. I mean, double Burning Tree on turn 2. What are you going to do against that? I could bring in a Cast in the Fire, but we've already brought in a lot of cards. I mean, is Ninja very good? Probably not. Cast in the Fire probably is better than that. Kills 2 guys. Okay. We've got some lands and stuff. Tons of removal, as long as we can get to it. It's a little awkward, because I have to start with Landscape, and then I have to crack this. No, I think I cycle Lorien, so I can play an Augur. I do that for 2. Okay, and then this can find red later. Yeah, we'll do that. Tomb Raider with no artifact is decent. We're hoping to naturally draw a third land. Perfect. So I can Augur, but then I don't have Breath Weapon next turn. Do I need it next turn? Probably not at this rate, unless they go for the thing, the Burning Tree and everything. Yeah, I think I'd probably just wait. If I have Breath Weapon next turn, assuming they do have a lot of creatures, and then I just like wipe creatures one by one, we'll probably be fine. If all they have is a 1-power Tomb Raider, that's also good by me. I assume like a Reckless Impulse will be here. No, Tomb Raider. Do a third Tomb Raider, it'd be so funny. All right, we'll crack this for red. Hydroblast. I mean, they might have a Pyroblast because I almost want to play Augur because it just blocks and then it incentivizes them, forces them to cast more things. But they might have a Pyro, which means I need to Hydro back. I think I just pass. If they don't do anything except attack with these two guys, I could bolt one. I could take it. It's only 2. I think we just take it. If they do nothing, I only have 1 red mana, so I am going to Scred one of these guys now. If they're not going to play out enough creatures for it to be relevant, then I'm just going to not do anything. All right, we're going to do Augur with Hydroblast backup. We also get a Bolt. Nice. Mountain. They might be a little flooded, but also they have to have something in hand because why would they keep a hand with 2 Tomb Raiders and nothing else? They really wouldn't. Okay, Rally. Rally plays into Breath Weapon and Cast in the Fire, so I think I let that resolve. Now maybe they go for a Bushwhacker and I can counter that. Yeah. Because if I let this resolve, I take 6 damage. That's more than I'd like to take. So I think this is a good use of this. Now if they attack, I only take 2. If they don't attack, then, oh well, I will block. I believe I've called your bluff. All right, Brainstorm. So I could just hold up Breath Weapon here, but I already have Cast in the Fire for these two. I think we're going to go for a Brainstorm, try to hit a land drop, and if we don't, we still have Cast. We don't. We have a lot of really good cards. Put back Bolt and Cast in the Fire. Pass the turn. There's a Great Furnace. Just swing with the Tomb Raider. I'll block. This might be Flash in an Axe. Okay, or maybe they haven't end the festivities. I could Spell Stutter that. Then maybe they use a Bolt or something on it. I think that's fine, because then they only have 1 card left in hand, and we can just Breath Weapon everything away. They do have it. Pass the turn. I could also Cast in the Fire their Great Furnace, but no, I think we just go for the Breath Weapon here. Seeing as they're only going to have 2 cards, everything else in hand should be good enough to get them, I think. If I had 2 red, I might just like Bolt Cast, but it's fine. We're going to tap out a Counterspell, but I'd like to Fairy Seer for something. We don't need another Bolt, but I will keep a Spell Stutter. Burning Tree Emissary is fine, and they pass. We will Bolt the Emissary. They'll Galvanic Blast the Seer. Fair enough. We'll pass the turn, and we will go to our turn. Let's Brainstorm here. Again, trying to hit some lands. We do, and an Augur. Let's put back Scred and Cast, but I can Augur next turn, so let's do that. Hold everything up. Cast in the Fire. Let's go for an Augur. Hits a Scred. We'll take it. Get rid of a Campfire, unfortunately. They're going to pass. Another Brainstorm. Let's go for it. Lorien is good. Hydra's great. So let's get rid of 1 Cast and a Lorien, because I don't really think I'm going to use a second one. Now that I have a Hydroblast, I can do this. I do obviously want a second red source. Let's just get that down. And I'm not scared of a haste creature because I have removal for him. So let's just attack for 1. Start the slow damage train rolling. If they pass here, now we just have everything open. I will deal them 20 damage with this Augur Bolas if I have to. But I guess I'll probably flash in the Spell Stutter at the end of this next turn if nothing else happens to speed up the clock a little bit. They're going to Galvanic that. Could Counterspell. I think because we can't cast all our counterspells and stuff in a single turn anyway, it's probably worth it. If they try to kill it again, I think I'll let it go. If they try to Bolt this, do I want to Hydroblast it? I think not. This does bring us to a standstill, but we just are so much further ahead than them as far as cards. There's a Reckless Impulse. Definitely going to be countering any of the draw 2s. They have a second one. See if they have a third. Looks like no. We're out of counterspells now, but we still have kill spells for the creatures. Hitting land drops, which will make it easier when we get a Lorien to cast that, which now we wouldn't mind to find. Fairy Seer. Get rid of an island. I think I'll get rid of a Lightning Bolt. Don't really need more of that department. Tomb Raider. I could have exiled their Great Furnace to make it so it doesn't have haste or 2 power, but I think it's probably better to just exile a Clockwork Percussionist or something in the future. We'll just Scred the Tomb Raider. Hydroblast is good. Swing for 1. They got a mountain. Our 7 lands is a lot better than theirs are, though. Here's another Bolt. Swing for 1. Pass the turn. Oh, they're going to Burning Tree Emissary, and I'm going to bolt it. I could hold the bolts to go for their face, but I think I'm going to want to kill the 2/2 anyway, unless maybe I get another Augur here. Sprite's good, and we are officially winning the damage race. Just gotta be patient here. Lorien's pretty good. Swing for one. They could have a Pyroblast for it. We haven't seen any so far, but we do have one counterspell available. Oh, it was 3 lands, which is not great, but honestly, it's not the worst. We still get through 3 lands. All right, and they do concede. And that's how it goes. You don't need a Murmuring Mystic or any win con. You just got to stop them, and eventually you'll win. All right, this hand is keepable? Question mark. I think we'll give it a try. I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, if it was just Brainstorm, I would not keep it. We saw how that went. With Preordain, we can see a total of, what is this, like 8 cards by our second turn. If we don't get a land in any of those, then I guess we'll be screwed. But yeah, get rid of all of these. There's a Faeries here. Getting prepared to get screwed. I guess 7 cards because we only draw 1 here. But chances we draw a single land are pretty high. Then Augur's decent. If we get a red source, opens up all our removal. And then the hand isn't even that good, so maybe I should have mulliganed it. Unless we're against something where all the removal is really good, like Elves or something. They're going to land grant. Okay, so it is Spy. That is a matchup where removal is good. I'm prepared to not draw a land, though, in the next 4 cards. So let's see how that goes. Thinking about if they want to use Wildling, Genersent, or just play a Caretaker. They go for the Genersent. There's no land. I could play it safe, but then I'm not getting a land this turn by going Fairy Seer first, because otherwise I get Brainstorm locked. But then I get to Fairy Seer next turn. Like I said, 7 cards. If we don't see a land, I'm going to be upset. So we got there. We got Mountain, and we got Lorien. So probably put back Bolts. Ooh, they could Fiend us at some point. I'd probably want to just have the counterspell not here, although I might go for the Augur next turn. But then I can always kill the Mystic, or the, the Fiend, so it's fine. Let's put these 2 back. Play this, pass. If they go for a Caretaker or something, we'll probably just bolt it. And then I guess I need to Lorien before I Augur, otherwise I wouldn't be able to hit a land drop. That's worse. They go for a Wildling, Roost Seek, find their swamp, Caretaker. We're just going to take care of that. And then I'm drawing back Skred here, and the counterspell's underneath, which actually means that I'm going to lose the counterspell if I cycle the Lorien, which is not really my intention. Or I could just miss the land drop intentionally by going Augur here. It's not the worst thing ever. We have a lot of cheap removal. I still can then counterspell later, and I really don't want to lose a counterspell. I think it is worth it. I maybe should have just put back like Ninja or something I was willing to lose, but I think we'll do this. I don't think it's the end of the world that we did that. We'll find out when the world ends. Because now if they want, they can go for like a Fiend. But yeah, they're probably Winding Way while they don't have to deal with counterspell. They hit Land Grant, but they get Genersent, Masked Vandal, Wildling. They have an Elves, a Deep Shadow. So I'm definitely cycling this Lorien. Question is, what else do I want to do? I could Ninja. Obviously, we're then shields down. They could have a 1-drop and a Spy, and that seems bad, so let's not do that. So I either need to hold up counterspell, or maybe I just like kill the Elves. Kill Elves and go for a Seer, maybe. I think that's good. Another counterspell and a Ponder. I mean, counterspell's good. Probably keep that. Kill Elves. Maybe next turn I go for like a Ninja and I just Skred their creature, so they could Spy, but they couldn't have the creatures to do anything about it. If you kill all the Mana Dorks, they only have 4 lands, so my goal is to try to keep them from casting Genersents and Wildlings by just killing all of their Mana Dorks. We'll see how that goes. I guess at this point they could go for a Fiend, take our Skred. A little annoying, but we still have Counterspell. And if they take Counterspell, I could always Skred their creature, and I'm drawing another one, but cycle and Ent. They're inevitably going to play that Forest. They do go for the Fiend. Maybe they go for Counterspell so that I can't counter their Winding Way. Nah, but again, I just Skred this. It forces the Skred to be used on the Fiend, but by just taking it, it also doesn't allow it to get used on anything else until it dies, and then keeps a creature around for them. So yeah, that's what they go for. We're drawing a Counterspell here. They didn't end up playing the Forest. Fair enough. I think I Fairy Seer, and then I'm going to go for a Ninja. They could resolve a Winding Way, but they can't do anything like... Unless they have a bunch of... I guess unless they have a Lotus Petal and a 1-drop, they can't Spy kill us. And if they have that, you know, they got us. Seer into Augur and land. I mean, Augur could help find something else next turn. Plus, we're holding up Counterspell, so I think we're going to keep these both. Keep the land this turn so I can play it. I guess I'm picking up an Augur here, though, so maybe I shouldn't have done that, because I already have one. I could pick up the Fairy Seer, but I don't think that's better. Hit for 3, draw, player Fjord, and pass. They play the Forest, they just slam Spy, target themselves, so they have to have, unless they just forgot they need a 3rd creature, they have to have like Lotus Petal and a 1-drop or something. Not seeing anything abnormal. They're not casting a Lotus Petal. And they concede. I believe they forgot that they needed 3 creatures, so that's helpful. We get relics, and nothing else really does us much good. Casting the Fire can take out Mezfiend, Elves, maybe Quirions if they have those. I guess they just flipped up their whole deck. Most of the lists run a few Quirions, but you never know. Yeah, there's 1, there's 2. So do we have anything bad? I mean, Mystic's good in the late game. It's not really what we need, but it's not terrible. Commodore is pretty good, and all the removal is good. All right, let's just bring in some relics. I assume they're not going to make that mistake again. I feel like this is a keep, but doesn't do anything on turn 1. I don't know. We have Counterspell. Spellstutter can counter even like a Rooseek on turn 3, which can be really good, or at least some value, or a Caretaker or an Elves or whatever. A Moon Circuit Hacker. It's probably better than Ninja the Devours in most cases here, because it's unlikely to get in more than once until we kill a bunch of stuff, so the cheaper the better. They go for a land grant. They go for another land grant. Kept in the Masked Vandals, which is smart because we have relics. They cycle Generosent, Gate Creeper. Yeah, their hand's okay. We do get to have a counterspell up by the time they can lead the Stampede, so that's good. They do Gate Creeper Vine, so they've already got all their basics out. I should probably cycle this Lorien for Volatile Fjord, just to have red mana available as soon as possible. Then again, I'm not playing it this turn because I want to have Counterspell, but yeah, there's the bolts. They're going to pass. Let's flash in a Spellstutter. I could go for the Hacker, then I need to play an island, so I have up Counterspell again. I think I'd rather just go for the... It's tough. If I play the Fjord, I have Lightning Bolt available, but actually since their only blocker is 2 toughness, I actually think I do want to get the Hacker down because it could maybe get in again next turn, and that could be relevant. So let's just do this and pass. Drawing a bunch of lands. They play a forest. Ceruli Caretaker. I would like to Spellstutter that, but then they get to lead the Stampede for free, and that's no good. This does mean they have a blocker for this. I could Ninja this, and then we have 2 ninjas, and then I hold up Counterspell again. I think it might be worth it, because at some point I might be forced to play the Masked Vandal just to block. Oh, well, I blanked and I didn't do it, so let's just play our Fjord. I should have gone for the Ninja, I think. It's probably fine this way too, but if they are forced to play the Masked Vandal and not get their value out of it, it's just a blocker, that's probably good for us if we get a relic later. I think having Bolt up available next turn is pretty good too, though. Nyxborn Hydra is a 3/4. That blocks pretty well, doesn't it? If I counterspell it, they obviously can get a lead the Stampede off. If I don't, I'm just stopped dead in my tracks, so I think I gotta counter it. We get a Lorien. So I think here I'm gonna bolt the Caretaker, and we're gonna go for the Ninja. This gives us 2 draws to find, unless they want to chump here, 2 draws to find another counterspell. And obviously our Spellstutter comes back. Find a Scred, that's not bad. And we loot away an island, leave up Spellstutter. Okay, well, I assume they're going to go for the lead the Stampede. I still have Counterspell available, like mana, but they drew 1 out last turn. It feels like they probably can't wait around forever, but maybe they drew something else that helps with that, like a Fiend. Luckily for us, we can just Scred this, get whatever they take back. If they take a Spellstutter, I don't even really care, but if they take the Lorien, I probably also don't care, actually. At least not yet. So, I mean, they take the Scred, like usual, but can't do much about it. And they might go for the Vandal here. Otherwise, I get to attack with the ninjas pretty freely, which I guess they don't mind. I could definitely see a chump, though. Nope, they want to keep their creatures. All right, we'll draw 2, discard 1. 3rd Spellstutter, beautiful. We'll get rid of an island, pass the turn. So now if they go for a lead the Stampede, I will counter it. I'll just have to cast all 3 Spellstutters for it, which is a lot, but they're at 9 life, so the damage is good. Plus, I get to then resolve a Lorien revealed, so we're gonna go for it. I wish they played like a 1-drop first to bait a Spellstutter, but you know, obviously I get more value, but that's okay. Triple Sprite to counter the lead, and they concede. Very nice. Sand looks pretty good. Let's keep. We're on the draw, but we can Preordain, maybe set some stuff up, Spellstutter into Ninja. We have an actual counter spell, of course. We're against Snow-Covered Forest into Sprawl, so that looks like Ponza to me. Ooh, Fairy Seer is good. We're going to start with that instead because I could Ninja turn 2 or I could Sprite, assuming I don't get my land blown up. So I might also hedge to keep extra lands here. Yeah, like Scred is going to be good and Lorien is another land. So let's keep them both. Oh, nothing? That's amazing. That's really good for us. Okay, so I could go for Ninja. That means even if they blow up a land, I have a Ninja going. And if they like Chrysalis, then they stop us, but I don't lose a land. Spellstutter isn't that good. I could hold up a counterspell though, which is pretty relevant because I don't actually want to lose my land. But Ninja's really good. And I might just counter a Chris. Yeah, let's just hit for 1 and pass, I suppose. Be responsible. Obviously, they didn't have a Thermokarst, but they could still have a 1 volley Acid Moss is the one. And it looks like they don't. I wish they played like a Malevolent Rumble. Flash in a Spell Stutter, then they know about it. I get to Ninja. We get in for more damage. I think it's fine. Let's just stick by our convictions and hold up Counterspell here. I think at this point we're going for Ninja on turn 4, maybe, because then I can also hold up Counterspell. Because they could still have a Mon Volley Acid Moss or just like a Chris. I mean, they could have another land and go to an Avenging Hunter as well. There's options. Yeah, Chrysalis. We're 2 turns away from being able to scred it, so I think we just go for the Counterspell. Most everything else in their deck is easier to scred, actually, if not the same, like an Annoyed Altasaur. And we're using the mana that we have available right now, which we're also using the red because we're going to cycle this Lorien for just an island. So then I can Ninja here. I could hold up a Spell Stutter for 1. I mean, I might as well hold up Spell Stutter plus Scred, I guess. Spell Stutter for 1 could be relevant, actually, because they could go for a Utopia Sprawl, thinking it's going to be neutral mana. And then you counter it, and it throws off their math. I don't know. It feels like it would have been better to just go for the Ninja earlier on turn 2, but that's results-oriented thinking. I'm not sure if it would have actually been better overall. But we'll draw a card. It's another Sprite. All right, there's a Boarding Party into an Avenging Hunter. Okay, so if they attack with a Boarding Party, then I can kill the Hunter and take the initiative. So that's fine. Plus we can chump the party. I probably don't chump it this turn, but I can chump it in the future. So I guess if they're smart, maybe they just leave them both back, which would be kind of annoying. They also have a Forest, since they just got that. They do have a Sprawl. Okay, so then I definitely want a Spell Stutter because now I have a flyer to take the initiative, even if they do leave them both back. And it's just a little bit incidental value. Honestly, the mana could matter because now they might only be stuck on 5. Instead of being able to get to 6 for a Boarding Party or 7 for an Annoyed Altasaur. They are going to attack for 6 damage. I like to see that. Brainstorm. So let's see, I want to scred this. I get to search up a basic, which is going to be a mountain, I assume. Well, I won't have any red. Maybe I go for an island. Then I'll have 4. So I play Rainstorm into Fairy Seer, and then I have a Spell Stutter maybe. Although I guess I get a free shuffle with the initiative, so that's kind of cool. Let's go for a Brainstorm first then. See what we turn up. All right, we draw a couple lands plus a Seer. Probably just get rid of a landscape and an island. All right, so we need to use Scred, and I want to play a Fairy Seer. So I think I put back... We're getting a free untapped island from this, but I'm not sure I need the Fjord. I guess at this point, maybe I do just get a mountain. All right, let's put these 2 back. Plenty of lands. Scred this. Swing with the team. Shuffle first. Actually, we don't have a say in that because it's their trigger, technically. It does happen first, but I didn't get to order them. We will take the mountain then. Draw a card. Play an island. Fairy Seer. Augur Counterspell. Perfect. I'll just keep those both. So now I have a Spell Stutter for 3, plus a Chump Blocker. So if they try to do like 2-3 drops or something, one of which is like a Jewel Thief to bridge the gap, then I can counter one of them. Well, the first one, which should hopefully stop the second one. They do have a Mon Volley Acid Moss. I can't counter that. I'm 1 shy. Good thing we got the mountain. We should have remembered that. We do need to chump here unless I want them to get the initiative back, which I don't. So let's do that. But now we get to Forge onto the Ninja. It's way harder. We get to Augur for a counterspell, and then Fairy Seer for, why not, another Augur. Hit for 5. With the trap, we should be able to kill him next turn, especially with our counterspell and our flyers and stuff like that. We will chump with the Augur so that the flyers/fairies survive, so we can still counter a 3-drop if we wanted. Chris is pretty good. Probably want to counter that. It does mean I might actually not be able to kill this turn because they have chump blockers, and I can't get 3 power in the air, which means the trap isn't quite lethal. We're still in a decent spot, but obviously it'd be better to kill them this turn. They could also play like another Chris or something with the mana. They go for a Repurposer. Okay. We are going to trap them. We get another Spell Stutter Sprite. Okay. Let's preordain. Lightning Bolt's good. Keep that. Cycle Lorien. Oh, wait. Sometimes you just get really focused on one thing. And so I was like, Lightning Bolt's a good removal spell. It's also a good player removal spell, isn't it? So it didn't take me long to figure it out, but I definitely was like, yes, I will kill a Boarding Party with this. But I don't think we're going to do that this time. All right. We don't really have a sideboard against them. Our main deck is decent because we have a lot of counter spells. We have decent kill spells, but like cast kill's nothing relevant except for Arbor Elf on turn 2, but that's pretty slow already. These don't counter anything. Breath Weapon, occasionally you can catch like 8 spawn and it's really good, but not usually. Life gain can be okay. I think Campfire is what I'd bring in if I actively disliked any of these cards. But even Crimson Fleet Commodore, like it could be a big liability, but in the right situation it could be good as well. So I think we're just gonna run it back. Unfortunately, they're going to get breath weapons and maybe pyroblasts, but we'll see how that goes. This hand is good enough to keep for sure. They mulligan to 5, but they do have a wild growth immediately. We're going to do a Fairy Seer. We're lucky we get that turn 2 Ninja, but we might lose a land here. We're going to be looking for lands with this. Scred and Ponder are good, but we already have a kill spell and a cantrip, and we really need lands in case they blow up ours, so let's not keep those. They go for a Rumble, hit a Forest, Arbor Elf, or Altasaur. They go for the Forest. All right, no land destruction is nice. We're going to go straight for a Ninja, try to take advantage of the fact that they're low on cards. They could, like, Avenging Hunter us here or something. They don't have red yet for Chris, so that's good. More lands is not bad. They do get the Thermo card to blow up a land, and in fact, they gain a life because we're playing snow lands, but it's okay. It's for a good cause. We have a Fjord. Let's see if they want to chump. Honestly, probably they do, but it's a bit of a, it is relevant because they lose out on the ability to cast something bigger. We're going to go for the Seer to find more lands and also have another Ninja. We don't need a Bolt. Commodore is cool if we could cast it, and we can't, so let's get rid of them. They have a Forest and a Repurposer. Okay, so I could Bolt this. Gives them more stuff to do, like more mana. I think I just want to go for another Ninja here. Draw a card and play a Fjord. Maybe I should have cycled the Lorien first, so I could have... it wouldn't have changed anything. I was going to say so I could replay the Fairy Seer, but that would have cost a mana, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Another Repurposer. I could Scred and Bolt to get rid of both of them. Oh, well, they're going on the offensive, so I'm definitely going to spend one of these just to get rid of one. So we'll Bolt the Repurposer. They get a spawn. So we'll swing. We either get to draw some cards or they lose 2 spawn here. They let us get them both. Okay, I feel like they have to have an Annoyed Altasaur then, because that's the mana they would need for that. Draw 2, though. We have played a land, so let's play Seer, hold up Counterspell. Double Augur. Definitely don't need 2. I already have 1 in hand. They're fine. They're not really the best thing ever. Let's get rid of them. Both of them are gone. So if they play an Altasaur, I can even just kill that next turn with the Scred. So I'd probably counter whatever they cascade into, assuming it's, scary enough. There's the Altasaur. Generous Ent. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder to kill. And it has Reach. I mean, they both have Reach. We'll counter the Ent. And if we're lucky, they just make it easy on us and attack with the Repurposer. So I can just kill this and attack with everything. But they decide not to this time. Let's go for a Preordain. Double land. Get rid of those. Spell Stutter. Well, let's kill the Altasaur. Swing for 1, I guess. Hold up the Sprite. I could have played the Augur, and if I find a removal spell, I kill the Repurposer, but let's just hold up Sprite. It's either more damage in the air, or maybe I counter like a Malevolent Rumble, some sort of decent 1 or 2 drop. Or maybe they just concede and we snag the trophy. I gotta be honest, it's been a while since I've gotten a trophy, so you'll love to see it. I hope it made you proud, Noops, with that trophy run. Obviously, pretty good results. The deck felt pretty good. I will say a lot of times I've tried Izzet Fairies before, it's just kind of felt like a bad Dimir Fairies, where our removal is less reliable and also cheaper, but also more expensive as far as Snuff Out goes, and that can be really important. But in this one, it felt really good. The Bolt to the face was relevant multiple times against Rally, obviously having cheaper removal than Cast Down and also removal that didn't lose us life with the Snuff Out was really, really good. Those board wipes were quite strong, and I will say that Breath Weapon killing a Goblin Tomb Raider, I forgot to point it out, but that did come up, and never once did I have a Breath Weapon in the deck with the Crimson Fleet Commodore. It's just 1 league, small sample size, but in general, I think you should be playing Breath Weapon, unless if your consideration is budget reasons. I totally understand that, but if it's mechanical reasons of trying not to kill the Commodore, I think you just got to go with the Breath Weapon. Murmuring Mystic did a lot of work. I know that Dimir Fairies has a lot of trouble against Affinity, and it felt like this was quite a bit better of a matchup for us. Not only do we have Cast in the Fire in the sideboard, which helps quite a bit in that matchup, but also Snuff Out can't hit refurbs, and it also loses us life, which can be pretty relevant, whereas Scred can already kill everything. Bolt hits half of the things they have, and I guess the Pyroblasts weren't bad either. So yeah, I guess it's mostly the sideboard that did well. Most of the blue main deck cards are pretty similar to the main deck cards you'd be running in Dimir Fairies, but I think this list is sweet. I'm glad that Scred has a few different decks that people can play it in, because it is a very cool card, and it's nice to have snow-covered lands actually be pretty relevant. I don't think I have anything to say about the sideboard. I do think that 2 Breath Weapons is just pretty good. You could go more even, but 2 is probably fine. I think 1 is just a little bit low when we can be a little bit weak against something like Rally. Obviously, we have blockers and removal spells, but if you're going 1 for 1 on their really cheap creatures and also they're like 1/1s, it's pretty bad. So having a few more ways to wipe the board I think is good. In any case, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to my supporters. If you want to support me on a monthly basis, you can join my YouTube memberships, which allows you to see early access to videos. Thanks to my current $10 and up supporters, Howard Granger, Halkaz, DJ Vinyl, Paladillin C, Blackjack Davey, Max, Someone You Know PK, Lucas Lage 3463, and Heckboy1337. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.